Before we discuss, now is ready. Again, um, good morning to everyone. The very morning. Today we start the topic feminism, the eighth unit, approaches to literature. I hope you all know that the term feminism. Before we enter into topic, I had a little question with you. This is what I call it pre-reading questions and post-reading questions. According this unit, I have given you roughly 100 questions. I have given you 100 questions behind the text regarding feminism. Before we enter into this text, what I want, can you answer the question that what I'm telling? I'm going to give you the four words. The first word is female, and the second word is feminine, and the third word is feminism, and fourth word is feminist. Have you caught the words? Again, I will tell you. First word is female, and the second word is feminine, and the third word is feminist. Third word is feminism, and the fourth word is feminist. Now, when you understand these four terms, you can understand feminism. Am I correct? Do anyone can answer these four? What does it mean? And how do you say the meaning of those words? Can you tell me the meaning of the words? No, the words that just now I talked to you. Female, then feminine, feminism, and feminist. These words. And I hope you understand these terms. Is that when you understand these terms, then it is easy to understand the whole text. The text titled as feminism, and we all going to see the history of feminism and that how this movement has taken place since no the period. I'll tell you the period when we go with the text. Can you anyone tell me the meaning of those four words? Female, feminine, feminism, feminist. These four words meaning that you could understand exactly when we try to complete this text. You know that if it is not easy to tell and answer these questions. It is not very easy. When we go the course of lecture, that we understand these words, these terms. I hope. Now I will move. Is it? First, I will tell you that see this sociological criticism. I'll tell you sociological criticism. Actually, this criticism, this approach, what approach? Feminist approach that is behind with sociological criticism. Why? Because this is related with society. The words so far that I uttered, female, feminine, feminism, and feminist. And these words are exactly connected with the sociological criticism, sociological approach. And by and large, we will have two what we class major different categories. The one is feminist criticism, other is Marxist criticism. I don't say feminism criticism, feminist criticism. So before we enter into this feminism, I tell you openly this theory, the feminist theory, feminist criticism is not concerned with our country. It is a Western policy. This policy belongs to Western country, not it is for our own country. I hope you understand what I am telling. Here, I am going to show you. I'm going to show you the next thing. See that this is a overview picture of a feminist criticism. Your topic is feminism. Your topic is feminism. But now I will tell you that one of the sociological approach regarding the feminism and feminist criticism, it is nothing but a movement that followed the World War II. Of course, before that, what we class, what had happened against what we class female and feminine. This is what that they have been focusing in terms of feminist criticism. These people who have been supporting this theory, sociological theory. See, actually, what they analyze them. Simply, we say the role of gender in the works of literature. Now, before independence, you see that how Bharadiyar was attempted regarding in the sense that giving complete freedom to the sector of women. Is it? Am I clear? Here, these critics who talks about who are what we class very clearly analyzing the role of gender in the works of literature. When we talk about feminism, you could come across the two writers. One is Simon D. Beauvoir, the second one is Elaine Showalter, and the third one is Virginia Woolf. Now, when you could not understand these writers and these writers' works, and one more that I forgot, Mary Wollstonecraft, the first woman feminist critic, Mary Wollstonecraft. I will tell you the course of lecture. But Elaine Showalter is talking lengthy regarding this view of feminist criticism. Actually, it has to analyze the works of male authors. Male authors, how the male authors depicted what we class a woman's writing. Of course. Of course, you may understand what I'm telling you. No writers who belongs to what we class the world of what we class masculine gender. Now, how they represent what we class a woman in their writings. When women writes, especially about women, that is a gynocriticism. Definitely, you love question. You expect questions. When women writing, take the example of Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf wrote A Room of One's Own. That is gynocriticism. We cannot call it what we class feminist criticism. You take it what we class Elaine Showalter's towards feminist criticism. That is another example. And Simon D. Beauvoir's second sex, that is what we call as the best example of gynocriticism. Why? Because these writers are talking about women. But earlier, no, male writers who presented about women. That is what we class the analysis. Am I clear? Am I clear? Do you have any question? Do you have any question? Sethu Madhavan, any question?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, nice. Sethu Madhavan, just I introduced the title, feminism.
Sir, what about the Mary Woolen, uh,
Yes,
Mary Wollstonecraft about
Mary
rugby game?
Wollstonecraft. That is a beginner of this movement, feminist movement.
Because you are not included the name, I think. So, sir.
I told you. I
Oh,
told you.
okay, sir. Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, I told you.
Okay, sir.
Mary Wollstonecraft and then Virginia Woolf,
Oh,
Simon P. Bower, and Ellen Showalter.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
These four people, the major. I'll tell you list of peoples. List of peoples. I will tell you. Yes. Now I will move this the text. Now you come to the text. The original text. What I am showing you. Actually, you can understand by and large the four terms I told you. What are all the four terms? Female, then famine, and feminism, and feminist. Look that what here I am going to say. How do you term the word feminism? The term feminism. It is to describe very simple a political, cultural, or economic movement. Of course, feminism is a movement. The movement of in terms of political, cultural, and economic movement. Today, you see that the most of the feminist writers, I'll tell you Ambai, whether you heard about or not, Ambai, a Tamil writer, Nambai, who talks about very clearly regarding this movement based on political and cultural economic movement. Why this movement? This movement aimed at establishing equal rights. I hope you understand what does it mean, feminism. No, they want to establish equal rights and legal protection for women. Today, you may notice exactly that how government of India has been giving what we call as a legal protection for women in the case of what presented in the parliament and what is in the Indian constitutional law. Now, this is what a legal protection for women. But actually, this issue happened in US and UK, not in India. This movement began not in India. This is exactly began in England and US. Actually, actually, the people who have given what we class such oppression, no, towards so-called gender. This is what I call it famine. Famine is related with gender, whereas female are related with a biological issue. I hope you understand what I'm telling. And actually, this movement, the feminism that has been what we class involving the political and sociological issues, especially gender differences. Gender. Again, I'll tell you, the gender difference is not found in India. But of course, it is to be found by the writer that I am telling, Ambai. And few writers, you take the example of recent writer Anuradha Roy, Arundhati Roy, Mehta Patkar. You see those writers. What they want, what we class about this movement, the sociological theories. regarding advocates gender equality for women, gender equality, and campaigns for women's rights and interest. They made a campaign, and it is exclusively for women rights and women interest. And the writers who, after World War II, that as Sethu Madhavan rightly point out that Mary Wollstonecraft is a beginner. She's from UK. She's from UK. See here, I'm going to give you what we call the meaning of the two terms, feminism and feminist. Most of the people is confusing this term. Female, feminine, feminism, and feminist. Here, these two terms, feminism and feminist, did not gain widespread until 1970. See, I told you that it has a movement started after the immediate of the Second World War. But here, actually, these two terms is widely spread, after 1970s. Not what we call earlier. But however, it has started earlier. The people have started earlier. That I will tell you. I will give you a detailed list of that how this movement has begun. Definitely, you may expect what we call questions regarding what I am speaking. Is it? Am I correct? Look at that. What we call Catherine Hepburn speaks. Is a feminist. That he speaks of first the movement, the feminist movement in 1942. There was a film, The Woman of the Year. There was a film. That film is available in YouTube. The feminist movement, that movement at first spoke by whom? Catherine Hepburn. Hebburn, Hepburn. She at first speaks the movement, the feminist movement in 1942. And the film titled as Woman of the Year. The film 1942 Woman of the Year. That's the name of the film. I hope you understand what I told you just now. Now, what I am telling regarding what does it mean, how the term feminism is termed, that I told you, and also what I am telling that the movement as at first spoken by Catherine. Now, keep in mind, definitely you have one more question. And that was a film, The Woman of the Year, 1942. I'm talking about the history of feminism. And you see that next writer, according to Maggie Hum and Rebecca Walker, these two people, they have been talking about the history of feminism, and the history of feminism can be divided into three waves. Of course, Ellen Showalter has shown 4 modules. Ellen Showalter in her essay towards feminist criticism. But here, according these two, what we class a feminist writer, Maggie Hum and Rebecca Walker, these 3 people, definitely you may expect a question, one more question. What one more question? That was what the class are talking about dividing the 3 waves. The first feminist wave is began with the 19th century and the early of 20th century. 19th century that I told you, Virginia Woolf and Mary Wollstonecraft. 19th century. And when you come what we class 20th century, early 20th century, this is what we class the few writers. As per just I told you that Simon de Beauvoir and what not. This is the first wave, feminist wave, according these 2 writers. The second is between 1960 to 1970, second wave. I told you 3 waves. Second wave is between 1960 to 1970. You may expect the questions, one more questions. And the third wave extends, from 1990s right now, not the present also. The three waves. You see that in the third wave you can find Malala. I heard about that. See, you all know well Malala, who is against of Taliban. It's a recent what we call as a history of this feminist movement. A girl who is about 13 years old, Malala from Pakistan, and she faced what we class against the ideological thought of whom Taliban. This is a third phase. This is a third wave. So far, I'm telling three waves. The first wave, the very beginning of 19th century and the very opening of 20th century. The second wave between 1960 to 1970. And third wave that has been started from 1990s right now. Third waves. Of course, this theory, the feminist theory, the sociological theory, that has emerged from the movements of feminism. The feminism is a movement. Is it that what we call as a feminist movement? No, you have the manifestation. You have the manifestation. That is a feminist geography, feminist history, feminist literary criticism. These are the disciplines that they have manifested from the movement, which means from the theory that these disciplines means subjects that we call it feminist geography, feminist history, feminist literary criticism. That is what our own syllabus, according this PGTRB 8th unit approaches to literature. Feminist literary criticism. I hope you understand what I am telling. If there is any question, please raise your hand and then ask at me. And look at the next point. See, I told you this theory, this sociological theory, feminist criticism is not an Indian theory. India, it is not applicable. I'll tell you later what because why theory is not applicable in India. But because it has begun in 19th century by these two female writer, Virginia Woolf and Mary Wollstonecraft. This Western ideology and Western society and what they show ranging from culture to law. Of course, today in India, you can find that what we call as that's Bokso Sattam. This is based on what is that I am telling legal protection of women. In India, of course, the Indian constitution is very clear. Earlier, it was a Gundar Chattam, but today it was called as a Bokso Chattam. Now, same I am telling you, according Western country, especially UK and US, is ranging from culture to law. The activist, the feminist activist. See, so far I told you the writers: Elaine Showalter, Simon D. Bower, Mehta Patkar, Arundhati Roy, Malala. They are all what we call as an activist. They all they had what we call as campaign for women legal rights. Of course, they claim according what we call as a constitution. You hope that what we class, what does it mean? Legal rights, rights of contract, property rights, voting rights. Earlier, look at that 19th century, that women are not allowed to exercise voting. No, I'm talking about UK, the Western country. I'm talking about US. Even you see Arab countries, recently Arab countries has given permission for women to exercise vote. This is what I call it a women's legal rights. சட்டபூர்வமான உரிமைகள். This is what I call it a woman legal rights. Rights of contract, property rights, and voting rights. Because women rights to bodily integrity, autonomy. You see this biological torture. That's what because they had this women rights, even the abortion rights, the reproductive rights. These things are talked very closely. China is the only country I think that I found what because exactly following this reproductive rights. Because day by day China is increasing what because population. I hope you understand. Is it that including contraception and quality of prenatal care, and also for protection of women and girls from domestic violence, the sexual harassment and rape for the working place, so including maternity leave and equal pay. That you have another term, but what we call Marxist feminism. That another term. I will come later. What we class talking about this Marxist feminism, where they talk about the equal pay with women and men. Misogamy. These are the what we class gender specific discrimination against women. Gender specific discrimination against women. This was exclusively seen in Western country, especially US and UK. Am I clear? Am I clear? Any question? Sethu Madhavan, you have hand raised.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, now we are talking about after 1940s. The activists, those who are supporting the feminism. Actually, now we are talking about after 19.
Of course, sir. Just recent writers. I am telling. I will tell you. I will have list of writers from the beginning. I will tell you.
Sir, actually, that just before I told you, there is one book is there, sir. A Vindication of the Rights of Women. It was written in the year 1792.
Yeah.
I told that woman name just before. That Mary Wollstonecraft.
Yeah.
You have to talk about that lady.
Yeah, I'll talk you. I will talk to
Okay.
you. Definitely.
Okay, sir.
The course of that, there are number of particular pages that I had regarding this feminism that I will talk to you very closely regarding those writers.
Sir, but actually, this is one question, sir. Last time TRB it was asked, sir.
Okay.
So she is the pioneer of this feminism, I think so, sir.
Of course, Mary Wollstonecraft, no doubt.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. And Virginia Woolf also. These two people belonging to 19th century. Virginia Woolf is the beginning of the 20th century.
Sir, Mary Wollstonecraft actually she is from 18th century, sir. Because her work.
Of course, maybe. But the thing is that what because the people's lifespan, looking that lifespan of between 18th and 19th century.
Okay, sir. Okay,
that's
sir.
what that's given. I'm giving you the common term.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes. Any question? Any question? Prasanna Rase, any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Shall we move the next? I'm speaking very closely regarding what is that the theory. I'm not entering into the examples. I'm telling you what has been this exactly feminism and feminist. I hope you all can understand these things so far. I'm talking about the rights. No, say take the example. This movement, the feminist movement, and what we call as theories and leaders. Predominantly, they had leaders of a middle class white woman from Western Europe, North America. Is it? Of course, no. That what he is asking. No, who is asking? Sethu Madhavan is asking. Here, I am giving you the answer. 1851. That Sovereign's truth. No, and she is a white American lady, the middle class family. Middle class family. Especially these two parts, the western part of the European country and North America. And Sovereign's, what we call truth, in 1851, a speech to American feminists, which means a women of other races have proposed alternative feminism. This is what I call it a civil rights movement in the United States. And the collapse of European colonialism in Africa, Caribbean, parts of Latin America, and Southeast Asia, that's including India. I hope you understand what I'm here telling. This is what we call as a feminist movement in terms of what we call as a civil rights movement in the United States. And that has been what we call as a collapsing of European colonialism in Africa. And the Caribbean countries, the parts of Latin America and Southeast Asia. The Southeast Asian country, one among is in India. This is what we term the third world countries. That is what I call it a post-colonial theory. These European colonies and third world countries had proposed post-colonial, this third world feminism. Another word is a third world feminism. It's a new. And third world feminism is belonging with what we class the post-colonialism. And the best writer Chandra Talpat Bokhanti. And they are critical Western feminism of being ethnocentric, which means what we say, they talks about what we call ethnocentric. Even this black feminist, such as Angela Davis and Alice Walker. Of course, when you read Alice Walker's novel, you can what we call regarding to shed tears. I read it, Alice Walker's novel. Angela Davis also. These people who talks about, so that I told you North America. Is it those people who affected what we class this kind of a sense? And so they started this civil rights movement, which means they want to claim their own rights. Is it this what we call as women's legal rights? So far, I have given you what we class this is what I call it theory, the feminist theory. I've explained so far feminist theory. Right now we start that history. The history. Now first I told you Simon D. Beauvoir. Simon D. Beauvoir wrote the text titled as what we class here. I am telling you because why he wrote the text. When women writes about women, that is gynocriticism. Definitely, you have one more question. You expect one more question. This gynocriticism is began with Simon D. Beauvoir, Elaine Showalter, and other people. They take pen to write down about what we call defending of their own sex. This is regarding what we call as a woman, female. When you take that female is biological issues, We say female, the sex, as rightly what we class made by Shakespeare, frailty thy name is woman. When you take up what we class Macbeth, I think that is it frailty thy name is woman. And what's the text what we class Christine D. Payson. That's the text. And Epiter and Dio de Armor. This is nothing but what we call in English epistle to the God of love. Diamond C. Bower wrote. Epistle means letters. Letters to God of love. The same you can find what we call as Alice Walker's novel. The same. One of the character who made by Alice Walker, and she writes a letter to the God. Go and read that title of the novel by Alice Walker. I forget, but I will tell you. The same what we class given. No, this is what we class in the 15th century. And see, as what we class who said, Sridhar Madhavan said here, I'm telling you that writers, Heinrich Carolinus Agrippa and Montasova di Pozo di Porisi worked in the 16th century and also 17th century. These people who are writing about what we class women and their what we class movement, feminism, regarding what we class started in the 15th and 16th and 17th century. And that was what we class get into what we class peak in the 19th century. And what Sridhar Madhavan said, 18th century. This just been what we class widespreading across US and UK. Is it the scholars of feminism, they have been divided what we class three waves. They have been divided three waves. I hope you understand three waves. Is it? See, now what are the three waves? The first wave, what does it refers? Women's suffrage movements in the 19th and early 20th century. This is exclusively what we class concerned with women rights to vote. Of course, the early 19th century, I told you early 19th century. So it may be what we class 18th. Early 19th century, at the end of the what we class 18th century is otherwise called as early 19th century. And 20th century also, early 20th century also, where women fight against what we class to claim their rights to vote. This is the first wave. This is the first wave. Am I clear? Am I clear? The first wave, what I am telling. The very first wave. And you come, what we class second thing. The second wave refers to the ideas and the actions associated with the women's liberation. Second wave is talking about women's liberation. That is, again, I am telling you, US and UK. Women's liberation movement beginning in 1960. This is what we class a campaign for getting legal and social rights for women. Definitely, you have a question. What does a second wave of women says? Second wave feminism says. Definitely, you have a question. This is associated with what we class a legal and social rights for women. When you thorough with what we class our Indian Constitution, and you may understand this movement. The third wave refers what we class regarding as what we class Sridhar Madhavan rightly pointed out that Malala and others, Mehta Patkar, Arundhati Roy, and these people who have been talking about what we class reaction against second wave. They show their reaction against the second wave, which means what we say, claiming the legal rights and social rights for women is the toughest, what we say, where these people came forward and bring out the movement, regarding to avail this legal and social rights. Am I clear? So that I referred the recent, even Elaine Showalter also. Elaine Showalter also. What the names that I am suggesting, those names are very familiar of today. Very familiar. I hope you understand what does these terms, these waves are. No, any question? Any question? Again, no. Saktivel was raised hands. Is it correct? Yes. Any question? Tamilvanan, Harris Kumar. Am I clear regarding this feminist movement?
Clear, sir.
Okay. You take down notes, that the important point what I'm telling, the first wave, second wave, third wave. As rightly pointed by Sedu Madhavan, definitely, you have questions like this. So please note down, during the course of lecture, and then take what we class notes exactly regarding for facing 1 mark questions. If I give you point notes, that is useless. Without knowing what has happened. Am I correct, Sedu Madhavan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Number of people who have given notes on points. But that is not what we class useful, I think so. You cannot understand without knowing the consequences. And now we will move the first wave clearly. I told you the constructional ideas of the first wave, second wave, and third wave. Now we will move this first wave of feminism. No, this I told you what we class the period extended. I told you 19th century and early 20th century in the UK and US. I told you already. This is a feminist activity, which means what we class what they focus originally. UK and US, these people, what they focused originally, the promotion of equal contract and property rights for women, and opposition of chattel marriage and ownership of married women. See, once it was very, very tough regarding in UK and US, but India it is not like this. India has a social system is different. India's social system is different. When I take our country, that the feminism is not applicable, but people have come up. People have come up to what we class regarding this feminism. But right royally, it is not Eastern theory, it is a Western theory. Look at that first phase. What originally they focused, the promotion of equal contract and property rights for women, and the opposition of chattel marriage and ownership of married women and their children and their husband by their husband. This is the issue that has taken place in the very opening of the first wave. And the activists regarding feminism and they what we class against of these things, and they want to claim these kind of rights, against that patriarchal society, the patriarchy, the male centered domination. That is what we call as a patriarchy, patriarchal construction. That's what I am telling you regarding the first wave. And you come what we class the next. However, what we class end of the 19th century, the activism primarily on gaining political power, particularly rights of women, suffrage. political power, of course. So that Virginia Woolf told, I need a room of one's own, that I have to write about women. I need a pen, I need a room. Virginia Woolf says when we talk about, but actually, when we take up our own country, that Bharadiyar, who talks about what we call as the freedom of women. You go and read Bharadiyar's Kavithigal and Bharadiyar's works, where Bharadiyar, who is particularly about regarding the freedom of women. Not only Bharadiyar, so many people who have talked about what we class against, for whom the women's freedom. So many people in India. Gandhiji also, who spoke of the freedom of women. No, here I am going to tell you the particular activist, Walter Dane de Clara. As said the Madhavan raising question, now I'm what because bolding. I'm showing you these two people. Two people are activist regarding this 19th century. Regarding to claim what we class this political power, gaining political power, particularly the right of women suffrage. And they had a campaign on regarding women's sexual and reproductive rights, economic rights at the same time. Florence Nightingale, you know that about Florence Nightingale is a female nurse. She's at first what we class working in the military. You heard about Florence Nightingale. 1984. Now you may understand this how this Florence Nightingale, who established what we call a female nurses as in the military, adjoints of the militaries. And these two activists, Valentine de Clara and Margaret Sanger, these two people made a campaign. The social activist of English country. Am I clear? Am I clear? See, we will move again what we call the first wave. In 1918, the Representation of the People Act, that was act brought by English government. The Representation of a People's Act 1918. This is early 20th century. This act was passed granting the vote to women right at the age of 30 who owned houses, of course. Look at that, what people say. Today, our state government is going to what people say, face the election. That the people, one who have attained 18 years old and they have rights to vote. But what about in 1918, as for English country, the act Representation of the People, the woman has voting rights given on this act at the age of 30 who owned house. Otherwise, she could not given a right to vote. Am I clear? Am I clear? Say the Madhavan, am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
See, this in 1928, this has been extended. What we class over 21. The United States leaders of this movement include, and now I'm showing you the leaders of this what we class the people who had a movement. Now I am showing you Lucia Moth, Lucy Stone, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Susan B. Anthony. These people who spoke of this Representation of the People Act 1918. And they talk about what we class in this movement, abolition of slavery. And also championing women's right to vote. The first American wave of feminism involved a wide range of women, such as Frances Willard. Frances Willard is another woman activist belonging to conservative Christian groups, such as Women Christian Temperance Union. Others, Matilda Jocelyn Gange. She is talking about radical feminism. Radical feminism. Is it? And they had an association with these things. American first wave feminism is concerned to have ended with the passage of the 19th Amendment of the United States of Constitution, whereby they given rights to vote in all states. In America, we have 50 states, 50 provinces. Then only based on this act, amendment of the United States Constitution, 1919. But actually, the representation of the People's Act in 1918. But US accepted what we call the US government accepted in 1919 regarding the amendment of the United States, and they have granted for women for right to vote in all states. America has 50 states roughly, I'm telling. This is the first wave. And this term actually coined retrospectively the term second wave. Of course, there's much what we call a connection between first term and the second wave and the third wave also. This retrospectively, what we call the term second wave began to use to describe newer feminist movement. First, that's the feminist movement. And this second wave is concerned with what we call in the term coined retrospectively of a first wave, that is focused as much as fighting social and cultural inequalities as a political inequalities. Take the example in Indian Parliament, that people are talking about equal rights. 50% of a grant is given to women in the Parliament. Is it? This is what I call it equality. But actually, women are fighting inequalities, cultural inequalities, political inequalities. That they have been spoken very closely regarding these movements. And the next one is a second wave. I think that second wave. Now this we will see. What we call as tomorrow, this we will see. May